Hello Capricorn, welcome to the predictions for this October 2025. When the Sun passes through the sign of Libra, the essential thing is to welcome autumn, which opens the second half of the year when the amount of light and darkness is balanced, although the length of the night is gradually increasing. It is a natural effort that requires for us actions to stabilize existing conditions, seeking justice both literally and figuratively. Let us remember then that the justice that comes from the system has nothing to do with what each of us wants or thinks is right, but rather with achieving a broader perspective. And this, to be honest, is not something easy to perceive, much less understand. It takes us time to adapt to what the sky dictates, and we only understand the message later. For this reason, it is important to understand the order of the solar system and its movements. This way, we will have more tools to know what awaits us, and most importantly, how to take advantage of it. The Sun's passage through Libra requires an effort to focus on your professional and social life. This year will be very eventful because the sign of Libra is ruled by Venus, and following its movements this month will shed light on what to prepare for. From October the 1st to the 7th, Venus is in Virgo and Mercury is in Libra, which speaks of an exchange of energy between your knowledge on the one hand, and your aspirations, your desire for diplomacy, to look good, to find balance and justice on the other. The key is to serve others and seek to be neutral with your desires, leaving behind the single vision of the self in favor of the common good. Venus remains in Virgo, supporting you in offering your knowledge to serve others, while Mercury advances into Scorpio on October the 7th. Mental focus will be stronger as it also reaches Mars in this sign, its rulership. Now, thoughts will be more focused and in harmony with actions regarding the groups and associations to which you belong. You will have energy to share with them, even supporting your sense of leadership and decisive action, which you will share with your partner and siblings. As for Venus at the end of Virgo, she will face an opposition to Saturn, which you will experience as a confrontation between the desire to serve and the need to contain a multitude of seemingly endless feelings. This effort will persist until October the 12th. It demands a balance between the analysis you make based on your knowledge and your imagination, which has grown immensely. The following day, when Venus advances into Libra, it will strengthen your desire for refinement and elegance with the idealization of social and professional goals, encouraging you to seek new ways to express your inner self and your faith. Above all, because it will establish a balanced dialogue with Neptune in Aries. Therefore, the idealization of confrontation must be paired with efforts to be just and diplomatic. For you, Capricorn, this represents a new period of reviewing your origins, recognizing the adventure your ancestors undertook that gave you life and led you to choose who you are. Now you will understand the next step, and it will take time for you to recognize and develop it, inspiring those who follow you. The full moon on October the 6th is special because it concerns relationships in two ways. Those we have with our parents due to the opposition between the moon and the sun, and those we establish with our peers because the moon in Aries is ruled by Mars and the sun in Libra is ruled by Venus. From this perspective, You will now understand the paternal authority that compels you to be elegant, refined, and even polite. Meanwhile, the moon's energy brings you a spirit of adventure, but it requires you to overcome impatience. This lunation is a very important time to see what others reflect back to us and brings us the message of being proactive, not aggressive. Mars will be under Scorpio, its rulership all month, strengthening, as I mentioned a moment ago, your energy for setting goals and projects in groups and associations. However, the relationship between Venus and Mars at this time will be somewhat complex, and there may be clashes between what you want and what you actually do, especially since the signs where these planets are located propose different methods, one of service and the other of personal focus. The only way these tendencies can align within us is if we carefully analyze what we truly desire and you organize yourself to achieve it. This is important because Mars will have harmonious contacts with the nodes from October the 17th to the 22nd, which will affect your relationships and goals, which must leave behind a very specific vision to conclude everything that is emotionally pending. Returning to Mercury from the beginning of the month, an internal demand will be established to review what gives you security, the attempts to achieve it, and the failed actions, and the order we must follow to satisfy all these demands, maintaining all forms in an agreement that will be difficult to establish and complex to impose. On October 21st at 6:24 a.m. Central Time, we will have a new moon in Libra in a confrontation with the growing need for security and the original wound that needs to be taken into account to move circumstances forward over the coming months. Above all, in the face of changes and new ideals that are still not very clear, the change is felt. It cannot be specified yet, but it will certainly surprise us. On October the 23rd, the Sun enters Scorpio, preceded by Mars and Mercury. On that very day, the Moon, already in its new phase, is also in this place, making this a period of important focus and emotional intensity. Furthermore, in supreme harmony with Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. A peculiar time indeed of the year, because this will allow you to recognize with the original wound, the one that occurred when we were most vulnerable. Now we will have the emotional strength to recognize the corresponding lessons. In short, we will become aware of what we have learned, understanding that what happened was a product of circumstances. Let's take advantage of this day until November 7th to stabilize our emotions, facing the fear of losing security and changing what has been established, even if it hurts. On October the 22nd, Neptune re-enters Pisces for the last time, only at the 29th degree, where it will remain until January 25th next year. This signals a completion, a culmination, and a destiny, where the last lesson of the sign is learned before moving on to the next. For 14 years, you have experienced the best expression of Neptune in its modern rulership. It brought the frank and open entry into other levels of perception, the introduction to the culture of altered states of consciousness, with the advantages and risks that entails, and a reconsideration of your spirituality. Your thinking is now enriched with imagination and fantasy. You will surely do something extraordinary with it. Take advantage of the harmony between Jupiter and Saturn, which will help you grow in an orderly manner and mature because emotionally it will encourage you to express feelings in order and feel secure and stable. Uranus and Pluto will continue to present theories, communications, and new ideas to meet and work as a team, which you will achieve if you work to stabilize yourself emotionally. This will invite you to work in new areas and thereby profoundly transform your resources and values. However, Pluto will present us with a conflict on the 23rd when, due to the tension with the Sun in Scorpio, it brings a clash what we individually want and what the community, groups, and society in generally consider important, powerful, or acceptable. On the 29th, when Mercury advances into Sagittarius, it will oppose Uranus in Gemini, which presents a surprise in relationships and will force you to reconsider new endeavors in personal and virtual communication. See you soon.